Giratina, as you know, is the Lord of the Underworld. It is because of him that people are sent, I guess, where they're supposed to be after we die. And as such, things go off of balance if someone were to say to be brought back from the dead. As you know, there are cases of that happening throughout history. They don't happen very often, but normally when such a thing happens, it comes at a price. Normally there is some sort of deal that is made between Giratina and the person who wants to bring whoever back to life. I don't think such a deal was necessarily struck between Noir and Giratina, which is probably why it's pretty peed off.
Group didn't really tell me that was part of the thing that people normally do.
Hoopa is known to be a relatively mischievous Pokemon, and it wouldn't surprise me if what he did was completely unbeknownst or unplanned with Giratina. I'm sure Hoopa meant well, but I don't know if it necessarily had the foresight of what the consequences of these actions would be.
Yeah. And if I remember my mythology right, Hooper doesn't exactly have the most cordial relationship with other gods.
So, if such a transgression happened, then you can certainly try to appeal to Giratina for mercy, but it will probably require some price to be paid, either to return the person that wasn't supposed to have been brought back to life in the first place, or some other price of equal value. You can maybe put two and together what such a price would be. The other option is to challenge the god. And if you do, you can try to defeat Giratina. But such a thing is extremely suicidal. Fighting against any legendary god, but this is a higher legendary. If you were to defeat Giratina, you would have the option of slaying it or sparing it. Possibly even capture it, I suppose. Although I can't even imagine what would happen if somebody were to actually capture a god like that. There is this theory, though, that says that if one were to actually slay Giratina, it would throw the entire underworld out of whack. The theory is people would all of a sudden not be able to die.
That would have its negatives.
It might sound like a positive to some, but it might actually be a horrific thing for others.
Yeah, especially if you're in constant pain and you can't die.
That's the theory, at least. I don't think you can hide from it forever, Noir. I think at some point you have to face it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the right answer is.
Well, if there's a price to be paid, I'll have to pay it. Just wish I could be there a bit longer for Fabian. So, theoretically, let's say challenge the god thing happens, and instead of punching the underworld in chaos, what if we just put a new god there? Is that a thing that can happen? It's
yes.
Place. Okay.
You could. A new god could definitely be assigned to the new underworld realm. I don't know how that happens. I assume there's some sort of discussion that happens amongst the higher gods. an election, maybe. I don't know. We haven't had a god slain in a very long time.
But it's happened before.
It's happened before.
Okay.
Of gods that we never really knew the names of. It happened long time ago. And different historians say different things.
But if we were to challenge and defeat Giratina, you said we would have the choice to either slay it or spare it.
Or capture it.
Or capture it, if you want to go that route. If we were to do either of those last two, spare or capture, that is, would we be done? Would that be enough? Or would he continue to hound?
I believe that would be enough.
All right.
You would have then proven your worth to be able to take Fabian as an exception to the rule, exception to the law.
And I suppose that's what we'll have to do.
Defeating a god, though. I got this.
Yeah, if you asked me a month ago, but if you ask me now...
Defeating a god is not an easy task.
I agree.
Besides their immense power and ability, they also have these auras, extremely powerful auras. Giratina specifically has the aura of creation, death, and law. Creation allows him to essentially change up the terrain or even the weather within a moment's notice. Death basically means that you'll essentially gradually die over time.
More so than usual.
Out of character, lose 1/10 of your maximum hit points per turn. Out of character.
Mm-hmm.
A 10th each turn, which means 10 rounds you would all die if you don't defeat it in 10 rounds.
I mean, we could heal. Right? We could heal, right?
You can
I
heal.
can make healing mist, right?
Yeah, but if we take that much damage, we might take like so many injuries.
Yeah,
we
you'd have to be really careful with injuries. Yeah. I mean, and that death aura is aside from his actual attack stealing damage. That's just an addition. So
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then the law aura means that the possessor of the law can declare 3 rules before combat starts. Any combatant, including Giratina itself, must abide by these rules. Breaking these rules provokes the wrath of Giratina, and they gives Giratina a free priority attack against the one who broke the rule.
So we could trick Giratina into breaking their own rules.
That is true. You could trick Giratina to break its own rules. But I believe in order for it to work, that it has to break the rule intentionally.
Okay, is there any way to get rid of these auras? To like neutralize them somehow? Because that sounds pretty overpowered and scary.
Overpowered, you say? The Lord of the Underworld.
Well, it's a god.
It's a god.
Legendary.
Well, there's got to be ways to weaken gods. Like if someone slayed gods, then maybe there's a way to like poison them to like not be as powerful.
Out of character, can I roll Pokemon education? Because Petra knows something. I don't know if Tiffany would know this.
Mm-hmm. In addition to what Lewis just said, I'm going to say that Tiffany, and this actually fits for her, Tiffany believes that it would be faster, more efficient, if there was a way that you could make a deal with Giratina instead of trying to defeat it in combat. But that would require a good bit of diplomacy and clever thinking.
She will relay information for sake of time.
But I thought Cam specified that the only deal you can make would be an exchange. A life for a life.
Yeah.
What are Giratina's alliances among the gods?
What do you mean? Who it associates with?
Yeah, like if it could call some of the other gods its friends.
Certainly not Xerneas.
But I would doubt Yveltal.
Well, I think it and Yveltal have completely different goals. Yveltal seeks death. I don't think that Giratina seeks death.
It's just Giratina's assigned duty, essentially.
Indeed. But I would like to think that it and Arceus, for example, have an understanding with each other. They realize each other's purposes.
Palkia,
Probably
Dialga.
even Mew. Palkia and Dialga, I would assume, too, would be aligned. Over time, things decay. Matter, space, tends towards chaos. And death is just a part of that.
Do you think Giratina enjoys their role?
I don't know. I wouldn't know.
Okay.
I guess you could ask it.
Yeah, that would be a fun conversation. Hey, do you enjoy your work? Is it good? Do you want to have a holiday?
Have you ever thought about seeking a change in your occupation?
Make coffee. We can make this happen.
Yeah, just tell Giratina to make the best coffee ever, and it's fine.
Best coffee, best baked goods. We should probably get Charlie for the baked goods. No offense. You're very talented, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, that's probably not gonna work.
Chase, you're awfully quiet over there.
I don't think Giratina chooses to do what they do. It's just a role it has to play, just like the rest of the gods. They're all just puppets to something else. It's not a job. It's an identity.
Giratina is said to be death itself. So if you defeat death...
Well, I have a thought. If we're going to try to avoid the challenge route or the capture route, if we're going to try to make a deal, from the stories and from what we've experienced to an extent, Ho-Oh is pretty involved in terms of resurrection. But I assume that doesn't upset the balance. I assume that is an exception among the gods.
I don't think it's an exception. I think resurrection is very different than what Noir did with Fabian.
I think Ho-Oh and Giratina had an understanding in that Ho-Oh has the ability to determine who should or should not be resurrected, perhaps because they have a greater purpose. And I think that Giratina has some respect or trust in Ho-Oh's decisions as to who does or does not get resurrected, or who it deems worthy enough to be given the ability to resurrect.
Mm-hmm. And I don't mean to insist upon this idea, but if we're keeping all of our options open to a certain extent, would it be possible to accept the deal with Giratina to offer a life for a life, and then to bring that life back with Ho-Oh's exception?
I think that would actually break the terms of the contract. If you were asking for a life, basically offering a soul only to have it resurrected would be pretty much like giving somebody an agreed upon amount of cash and then stealing it from them later on. That would basically be the equivalent.
Okay, so new idea, same thought branch. We, in theory, can resurrect one time. We have this as a gift from Oho. I don't know what we are actually, because I'm not religious. Attachment to it? Could we exchange that one-time resurrection for Fabian now?
That might.
Well, good
if
to
you're
know.
willing to give up your one resurrection, that might work.
I'm down for that, guys, by the way. Not just because it's my fabulous idea, but...
That'd put a great risk to the rest of you, though. I'm assuming the gods wanted to give you that ability for a reason, especially if your guys are about to do what I think you're going to do, so not having that safety net, it's not my call.
I know, yeah. And thank you for being concerned for us.
Thank you for coming and telling us this.
What about the rest of the gods? What alliances would they have with each other?
Depends on the gods. I mean, there's so many of them. They all have their favorites and they all have their rivals.
What about well, let's focus on the ones that we've gotten gifts from.
Okay.
Those are, let's talk a little bit about Ho-Oh, Zapdos, and Moltres real quick.
Ho-Ho and Lugai are definitely rivals.
Well, they're rivals, but as far as history is concerned, they've tried to avoid antagonizing each other at the very least.
True.
Whereas you can't say the same for the birds.
True.
Suicune.
I don't think that Suicune has any specific rivals to speak of.
No, the dogs, the cats, whatever you want to refer to them as, they're all actually pretty well allied.
Yeah. The three of them, I think, seem to like each other just fine. Kyogre and Groudon are definitely rivals, and it took Rayquaza to sort of make peace between the two of them.
Do they like Rayquaza?
I think they respect
Imagine-
Rayquaza.
Yes.
Lunala?
Out of character, I don't know what the relationship is between Lunala and the other legendary. I forgot its
Solgaleo?
name. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't actually know their relationship with each other.
I think they're actually from the Ultra Space.
Do you know if what the relationship with each other is? Is it favorable, non-favorable, friendly?
I think they're actually two possibilities
I
for
mean, they're the
each
same
other.
Pokemon, right? Aren't they both
Yeah.
whatever Nebby was originally?
Yeah, Cosmog evolves into
Oh,
both
thank
of them.
you.
Yeah.
So I guess it would be a thing if in this campaign there are multiple Cosmogs. I think it's up to you.
I think that I think that Lunala is the Cosmog of this universe. The other one was the Cosmog of Noir's universe.
And we talked a little bit about Xerneas and Yveltal compared to Giratina, but what about Xerneas and Yveltal with each other?
They definitely hate each other.
Yes.
They definitely do not agree.
I actually think they're two of the most unnecessary legendaries. It seems they're just in a constant tug of war with no real results to speak of.
Molly is deep in thought, and she just says, "That helps a lot. Thank you."
Arceus by far is the one that all the gods seem to respect. Mew is the one that all the gods seem to like.
Good to know.
If there were a war going on or starting between the gods, do you think that the Lake Guardians would be enough? Or do you think that we should have been expecting to see like Celebi flocking by now?
I don't know.
Fabian has told me that Cresselia and Darkrai believe that he has the right to live. But someone
Is that
else
right?
disagreed. Yeah. Molly, with your conversation with Madame Fu, you said that that Cresselia has chosen Fabian as a prophet or something.
Something like that, yes.
If that's true, then it sounds like Giratina didn't agree.
Yeah.
And perhaps Cresselia didn't care that Giratina didn't agree.
Okay, so that's not a reason to negotiate. Okay. Anyone have any other questions about cards or ideas?
Chase approaches Cam. Looks at him in the eyes.
He looks it in your eyes back.
Are you a good person?
No, I'm not. But I'm trying to make up for that.
With your new group?
Yeah, we all are.
Making up for your mistakes on the other world?
They don't have mistakes on the other world. They're not from the other world.
No, I mean you.
Me? Oh, yeah.
Are you using them for your own needs?
I don't believe that I'm using them in that sense. I asked them to help me, and they said that they said they would help.
You were very clear about what they were agreeing to help with. They're not just your puppets.
No. They're my friends.
Are you Darkrai's puppets?
We are trying to work for Darkrai, if that's what you mean. If that makes us puppets, I guess you can call it whatever you want.
Only Darkrai? I tried asking Charlie, but he started tap dancing around the question.
Darkrai seems to be the only one that's been communicating with us, mostly through Steven, though.
Okay.
But we have seen signs that suggest that Darkrai and Cresselia are on the same page.
That's good.
From my understanding, we both have our roles to play. We both have our missions and our jobs. Our missions don't necessarily coincide, but they're related.
That's what Madame Vu said to me, so seems to fit.
So our goal is to not get in your way and focus on what we have to do.
Might what you do put the lives of innocents at risk?
No more than if we don't.
So you believe that sometimes innocents have to die for the greater good?
If we play our cards right, no innocents will die.
Perfect.
Is there anything else? If not, then Cam will turn to Noir and say, "Can we talk
If you have
privately?"
time. Of course.
Look, Cam says as he sort of rubs the back of his neck a little bit. First of all, I'm not asking you for your forgiveness, because I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I still wanted to say I'm sorry. I know that I haven't contacted you this whole time, and there's a reason why I haven't contacted you this whole time. You don't have to necessarily believe that, but that doesn't mean that I didn't want to contact you. And it looks like you've had a chance to move on and live your life, and I think that was the most important thing. But I'm still sorry.
Thank you for saying sorry. It's good to hear that.
He sort of walks up to you and looks at you into your eyes very seriously, and he says, "I don't want you guys to give up your resurrection, your lifeline. I have another option.
What's the option?
I want to pay the price. I'm not supposed to be here, Noir. I don't think that anything that I do is going to ever be enough penance for the things that happened in the last world, especially with everything that my dad did. But this, I think, is what I can do to make things right." You know I'm right.
All I have left of that other world is Fabian and you. Those are the only tired people who knew me before everything happened.
Yeah, and before All Hallows Eve, you didn't even know I was here.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time I saw you, you didn't seem like you wanted to have anything to do with me. You didn't want to see me anymore anyway.
I didn't want you to go at all. I was scared and alone, and I had no one else there. I was angry, of course, and upset, but the last thing I needed was to be alone.
I know. And I said I'm sorry.
I know.
I can't change what happened in the past. That's the whole problem. I can't change anything from the past. The only thing I can do is change what I do in the future. And this is something that
Well, in the future, don't sacrifice your life. I cannot bear another person I care about dying. You still are and will always be my friend. It doesn't matter what you did. You still saved me when I was pretty much thinking I was going to be trapped forever. So.
Nausicaa, he says as he takes a hold of your hands. Fabian needs you. He needs you. And I'm flattered. I believe everything you just said. But you need him. He needs you. And he needs you more than you need me. Nobody really needs me here. I mean, yeah, my friends are gonna miss me, but I don't have any special aura abilities or anything. I just pointed them in the right direction. I mean, they don't really need me for the rest of what we have to do. I think that my role in this, to make sure that you guys succeed, they're gonna need you there. They're gonna need you in Johto. And if you sacrifice yourself, that's not only bad for Fabian, but for everybody else in this world. You have to succeed.
I know, but I'm very scared that we're not going to. Regardless of whether or not... Stephen vision that he showed Cassie showed a lot of our deaths.
If you want to give Fabian the best chance, if you don't want to make your choice to bring him back a moot point, if you don't want that to be in vain, then you have to survive to see this mission through.
I plan to. I plan to survive. I just don't want anyone else to pay a price. I don't want anyone else to die because of me. Because I wasn't strong enough to protect people, because I wasn't good enough to save them, because I didn't see very obvious that everyone else saw. I didn't know. I was ignorant and stupid, naive to think that I could know the right thing to do, and I didn't.
I think, if you want to know my honest opinion, I think you need to stop thinking about people who die because of you. I think you need to focus on all the people who lived because of you. Do you know the kind of things that you guys have done that have saved so many lives? the psychics, the zombie apocalypse thing, and those are the only things that I know about. How many people do you think you have saved this whole time?
I don't know. Right. I was kind of along for the ride. Like, I don't really do much.
Well, that's the hard thing, isn't it? I mean, it's easy. It's a lot easier to look at lives that you may have affected negatively. But for the people who are now living their lives because of you, you'll never necessarily know that. But I know it's true.
If it's true for me, it's true for you too.
I think whatever role I've played up to this point, I've played. And I think this is the last thing I can offer. Just think about it, is all I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't think that you should give up the gift the gods gave you. And I also think that you want to give Fabian his best chance, no matter what the price is.
I'm going to need some time to think about this. We're going to go to Giotto in 3 weeks, under 3 weeks' time. Molly has people there that we need to try and get out. So
Good luck.
I'll give you an answer before then.
Okay. If, I'm not saying it'll happen, but if it finds you before that, I give you permission to say that I'm willing to pay the price.
Okay.
And it'll know. It'll know that. Just do me a favor and don't tell the others from my group.
Okay. As you wish.
Are we okay?
Yeah. Just make sure. We just gotta make sure that we live our lives at the time that we have left and live from no regrets, okay?
He'll just give your hands a squeeze and then he will pull you in for a hug. If you accept it.
And I'll take a breath and then hug him back.
You feel very safe. The hug lasts for a few seconds. It's a lingering hug. You feel very safe in his arms. And then eventually he will pull back and he'll give you a smile. I gotta go back.
Yeah.
But you have my number now, so call anytime, okay?
Okay. Goodbye. For now. I hope we see each other again.
And Yu breaks in and joins the hug, apparently.
It's like,
good to see you too. And Cam will leave. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so then after just excusing herself, shortly after Noir left, she'd go over to Fabian's door, slightly knock on it.
You'll knock on the door and you'll hear Fabian say, "Come in."
Cool, and she'll do so. Upon entering the room, she'll close the door behind her and she'll offer him a light smile and nod and say, "Hey, Fabian, how are you doing?"
Fabian right now seems to be on his bed and he seems to be petting clues right now. But he looks up in your direction and he says, "Fine."
She'll gesture toward the bed, a little giving him space and all that, and say, "Can I sit and talk to you for a minute?"
Okay.
So, yeah, she'll go in, and again, just giving him and Glue some space. And then Fabian will hear in his head, Cass will ask, do you remember Steven when we met him on All Hallows Eve night?
Fabian pauses for a moment and then he thinks back. Yes.
Do you remember what it is you did for him?
Yes.
Can you describe it at all for me?
I unlocked his door. It was still locked. And I helped him unlock it, so it was open.
His door? What do you mean when you say his door?
His door. His ability to see. He couldn't see through the door, so I opened it.
Does everyone have a door?
Everyone has a door. Everyone has things they can't see. Sometimes they're afraid to open the door. Steven was afraid. Like everybody else.
Can you see my door, Fabian? Is it still closed?
He thinks for a moment. No, it's open.
So you think that I'm doing all right? I'm doing the right things? Figuring things out?
Yes.
Do you think there's anything you can do to help, or am I kind of on my own?
He thinks for a moment. I'm watching. She's watching. She tries to tell me things. Things to tell you. That's why you see each other every night when you sleep.
Makes sense. I wanted to ask too, Fabian. Did you always know that you had these powers?
No.
Did it scare you when you found out?
Yes.
Does it scare you now?
No.
What did you do to accept it more?
I don't know. It just is normal now.
Okay. Well, I wanted to say that I think that, you're a good kid, Fabian. And I just appreciate, you being there for us and for your sister especially.
I'm not stupid.
I know you're not stupid.
Many people think I am.
Like you said, a lot of people can't or refuse to see.
It makes me angry sometimes.
What do you do with that anger?
I hit things. I know I shouldn't, but I do.
Does it help you feel better?
Yes. But she also tells me I have to calm down. Because she says if I don't, people could get hurt.
I think an important thing to know is that all emotions are important. We shouldn't ignore them. But there are definitely better ways to handle some than others. So I understand when you get angry, and I don't think that you should try to push those feelings away. But it's definitely important to learn how to better control yourself during those emotions. Because I know you don't want to hurt anyone.
No. No. It's hard. This is all happening in his head, by the way. It's hard to talk to people sometimes. Actually, it's hard to talk to people all the time.
No, I'm sure it hasn't been easy for you.
Why? He asks. Why are you only just talking to me now?
It always seemed to me like you just wanted your space more than anything. And I do apologize if I misread you before.
Okay.
Is there anything that you would like to ask or to talk about?
Your mom's nice.
Yeah, she's very nice.
Chase is nice too. They're both very nice.
What about the others?
Tiffany's very pretty.
She is very pretty.
Molly can't read very well.
That Cassie perks up a bit. Like, oh, really? How would you know?
He says she can feel it sometimes. But she's smarter than she thinks.
Would you mind if I let her know you said that?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to talk to you while Noir was a little busy, admittedly. But if you ever want to chat again while I'm around, don't hesitate. We can even do it in private if you'd like.
I like talking like this.
It's comfortable, isn't it?
It's easier.
Right, well, I don't want to take up any more of your time, so I guess I better get back to my group anyway.
Wait. And Fabian goes over to his desk and he pulls out a drawing. It's a drawing of clues. It's like a cute little drawing of clues. And then he with this particular drawing of clues, it actually is sitting on what you believe is you, sitting on top of your head, actually. And then he gives you the drawing.
Oh, for me? Am I really that pretty?
He says, yeah, Fabian says, and he blushes a little bit.
Thank you, Fabian. That's really sweet.
He blushes even more.
She'll, while holding the paper in one hand, she'll offer an arm for a hug, but like based on her expression, she's totally cool if he doesn't want it.
He'll hesitate a little bit, and then he'll lean in for an awkward, at least on his end, awkward hug.
It's fair. So she'll just, brief little squeeze and then let go of him. And she'll think back, thank you. This means a lot. And for the talk too. This has been good.
He'll nod.
Okay, well, you don't mind if I keep this, right?
You can have it.
Thank you. All right. Well, before anyone starts missing me, I think I'd better go.
Tell Chase to sleep.
I will. I'll tell him you said that.
And with that, you leave. Actually, by the time you get into the living room, I'm going to say that Chase is zonked out on the couch somewhere. He is...
Job well done.
Sleep has completely taken over him. He's completely out.
And Lux looks relieved.
So,
Finally.
Now I wonder if he went to the couch and fell asleep, or if he just collapsed and then people dragged him.
I think he just collapsed.
You guys dragged him then. Did Molly help? Cool.
Molly
Probably.
helped. She put a pillow under his head and everything.
Aw,
Okay.
my big sister. Or little sister. Actually, well, I have everyone right here real quick. It's unfortunate because Chase passed out. And when Noir goes off to have her scene, Cassie goes off to her scene, it's just Molly, Chase, Tiffany. Okay, I've been doing a lot of stress sewing, so you guys are reaping the benefits. Looks over at Chase, who is asleep. I'll just leave this on your chest. Lux, guard it for him. Here you go, Molly. Hands her a gold fabric pouch bag with drawstrings.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Do you open it?
Yeah, she opens it up.
Inside, you have an expert belt. It is black leather, and around the belt is different phases of the moon.
Hmm. Well, thanks a lot.
Out of
Put it to
character,
good
I have
use.
also added my fashionista perk to it for charm. You get a +2 evasion for one full round, once per scene.
+2 evasion.
I
that
can
again?
send you in Discord.
All right, yeah, please do.
As Chase is not awake to open his gift, he will get it when he wakes up. He is getting
Okay.
a focus band. When Noir comes back, it go okay?
It was a lot.
Good a lot or bad a lot?
Yeah, it's usually bad a lot. I had a lot of difficult decisions to make.
Okay. Well, as I missed your birthday and I feel horrible about that, here. That's Noir a small drawstring bag that is emerald green.
Opens it up.
Noir has a black lace headband, and sewn into the hairband is a quick claw.
Okay.
And again, also has fashionista perk for guile. Once per scene as a free action, when provoking attack of opportunity, you can instead not provoke one.
Cool. Can you send me on that on Discord?
I'll send you everything on Discord. I also have pictures for these two, so
Thank you so much.
hope you like it. Very well.
Yeah. Thanks.
While we're exchanging gifts, Molly will actually go to Tiffany and give her 2 TMs. One is for toxic, and one is for Venoshock.
Never really used TMs. I'll see if he wants them.
I figured
Tabletop? You okay with these? They'll change your moves a little.
U was off.
You just came back from
wandering around.
hugs.
Yeah, he was off wandering around the apartment. He comes back, just cheerfully comes back, and Molly will kneel down to him and say, "So you, we don't know if we're going to have any kind of combat in Johto, but I figured these two will help if you want to help." He looks up at her and says, and just, cocks his head. He takes the TMs. He looks at them. And Molly says, "You want to help Tiffany, right?" And you nods vigorously, and he takes the TMs and he places them in his mouth.
Okay.
No, don't.
No, sweetie, that's not how those are used.
And he is apologetic, and he spits them back out. They're all. Molly says, "Okay, this is all yours, Tiffany."
Yeah, it is.
So, out of character, toxic. If it's used by a poison type Pokemon, it cannot miss, and it inflicts like seriously poisoned or badly poisoned. And Venoshock ups its damage if it's used against a target that's already poisoned.
Those are nice comboed.
Mm-hmm.
And as you are playing Ooh, I will let you decide which powers you're going to pick up or drop for these.
Yeah, I'll do that later.
Cool.
I'm just going to, for the sake of time, you guys can have your dream scene. I don't know if there's going to be much discussion that's necessary because you just had a meeting, but I can tell you what's behind your door.
Yeah.
If you want. So at least I will do that. So the door is the black door, I believe. I believe that's the next door, which had the hoop behind it. And when you go into the black door, there will be I know that there was some question as to which one this actually would be, which is a very valid question. It will be the silhouette of Zekora, the black dragon. Zekoram is how I pronounce it?
I just say Zekrom, but I don't know for sure.
Zekrom.
Zekrom, yeah.
Okay. The ability of Zekrom is completely different from what is in the book. It is Bolt of Judgment. Bolt of Judgment. Target a Pokemon or trainer, range 20 squares. So, as a standard action, you send a powerful blast of force that deals dragon-type damage. The damage is equal to the sum of the difference in the max HP and current HP of all 5 PCs. So, for example, if Chase has 75 out of 100 HP, the difference is 25. Cassie has 10 out of 100 HP, the difference is 90. Molly is fainted, that's 0 out of 100 HP, that difference is 100. And the rest are at full health. Then the attack would do 25 plus 90 plus 100, which equals 215 damage. As long as the target is within range and line of sight, it cannot miss.
So it's a big old last resort thing. It's
It's
payback.
a big old last resort. It's payback.
Okay,
Yes, basically. Big old last resort. It cannot miss as long as you have a line of sight.
awesome. All right, everyone, feel free to die. I got you covered.
No death.
Well, you know, Chase is gonna bleed, so
We've covered
others
this.
survive.
You guys have no idea how much damage Chase being unconscious could actually do.
Yeah, how much full hit points does Chase have?
I don't know, but I can go unconscious and still act. That's my point.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
that's a good
Okay.
combo.
That's why I keep saying trust Chase. I'm not
Stop
crazy.
being
as a player.
crazy.
This does sound crazy though.
Cool.
Wow. Maybe we should just go fight Giratina now. No. I'm joking.
We can fight a god now. We don't need to worry about auras or anything.
No,
If we can find a way to shatter the auras, then I'd say we go for it, but
but we're not gonna get a God Slayer aura.
we might. You don't know. Arceus could surprise us.
Well, I mean, I don't think we're gonna get it in time, at least for Noir and Cam to make their decision, and that hasn't been brought up in character, so only they know.
That's actually what I was going to bring up when I did the Pokemon roll. But I think the other information we got was more fun.
I'm really curious about what would happen if you went to Prism Labs.
I am too. Let's go to the labs. We haven't been there in a while.
All right.
Okay.
You will go to Prism Labs.
Can we say that you is in his ball?
I would assume yes.
Sure.
I think you'd have to be when they're first going in, at least.
Yeah.
Nice.
They can give you clearance. And while you guys are on your way to Cassie's office, Dr. Aspen, or Professor Aspen, Dr. Aspen, will be passing by in the hallway. And he will give a wave to Cassie and say, "Good morning, Cassie. You have guests."
I do, yeah. They just picked up a couple TMs, and I thought I'd show them the special machinery that we've got for it.
Oh, well, wonderful. He will nod at, I'm assuming it's only Tiffany at this point, with
It was in his ball, so.
She has the ball in her hands, though.
Hello, pleasure to
Richard Aspen, he says, as he holds out his hand.
take sit. I'm Tiffany Benoit. Pleasure.
Pleasure, nice to meet you. I'm sure that you are in good hands. Cassie is an excellent employee.
Well, I wouldn't trust you with just anyone.
He will nod, and he will be on his way. And you guys will go over to the area where you can use the specialized TM machines. Okay.
takes out the now cleaned TMs and some to Cassie.
Do your thing, science girl.
Yeah. She'll begin, I suppose, loading them in. And then it will be up to positioning you appropriately.
Pops you out a ball.
Okay, cuddle puddle.
You're gonna pop out of your ball and you'll start looking around at your surroundings. And you can't help but feel like this lab looks familiar to you. Looks very familiar to you.
All right. You, at first, when he first pops out, he's cheerful like normal. But when he sees where he is, he stops and he looks around, and he actually starts crying.
Tiffany drops down. Sweetie, sweet, what's wrong?
And what he starts saying, of course, all Tiffany can hear is just normal ew noises. But what he's saying is, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Looks to Cassie, because she knows Cassie has some Pokemon linguist skills. Not as good as her friend, but some.
They understand differently is the thing. Yeah, Hark, would Cassie get the gist?
Oh yeah. She'd get the gist.
Yeah, so she'll like bite her cheek for a second, just watching you, and then look to Tiffany and say, "He's not feeling comfortable here. Do you want to just do this the normal way?"
Yeah, I think that might be best. Come on, go, pal.
She's actually just going to physically pick him up and hold him.
He is clutching her very tightly, still crying.
I'm so sorry, baby. It's gonna be okay. I'll get you outside, okay?
We might want to put him back in his ball before we go through the lab again.
Cassie, I don't think he's gonna let go right now. I really don't.
Are you sure?
How determined is you not to let go, Roma?
He is very determined not to let go.
Fair enough. Okay. She will unload the TMs. And just, lightly gesture with them out toward the door again.
Yeah, Tiffany's arms are full, so you're gonna have to be navigating doors.
Out of character, do they run into Aspen again?
Wouldn't that be something?
Yes.
Yeah.
They will actually.
Mm-hmm.
So you're down the hallway.
What a crying
And,
grimer might draw attention.
I'm gonna say that you're going to pass by one of the kitchen areas, where Richard Aspen is standing with a cup of coffee, a mug of coffee in his hand, and I'm gonna say that through the tears, I'm gonna say that you will catch sight of Richard Aspen, and Richard definitely looks very familiar to you in a very positive way. Extremely positive way. Almost like if you saw Tiffany as a mommy, you kind of see Richard strangely as a daddy.
Oh, shipping. All right.
Oh, shipping.
Sorry, Kyle.
That sooner,
I've got a doctor or a cop. Doctor or a cop.
Well, I have one vested in Kyle at this point, so. Harem! Gotcha! Sorry.
When Ew sees Aspen, he abruptly stops crying and he stares at Aspen and he says, "Richard Aspen." And with that, Hark, if you'll allow this, I think it's time. Ew is evolving.
Tiffany is
Oh.
buried alive.
Bum, 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 bum. All of a sudden, there's this music that just comes out of nowhere.
Just the
I've heard
PA
this before.
It's in the PA system. Oh, somebody's evolving. So you will see you, at least in the TV show, you starts to glow, a very bright glow. And Tiffany you've seen Pokemon evolve before, so you know what's about to happen. So I'm assuming you're going to put you down, and then
Put down. Still have hands on if she can.
yes, and the form of Ew starts to grow larger and larger and larger. And actually, Ew is a relatively large Grimer as Grimers go. So You can fit probably a bunch of Remys in that.
Let's try.
Several Remys.
All the Pokemon. Let's see if we can win. Maybe not Bullet Fern because they're bigger, but.
I would actually think it's safe to say that you could just barely engulf all of Bullet, I would say.
Wow.
Is how large you is.
Also, happy I bought additional fabric.
Relatively large.
I assume if Bullet tucks his wings in.
Yeah, I would say if Bullet tucks its wings.
Not like full spread. Okay.
But
Yeah,
Bullet's
that's a little
already
too big.
purple, so he would need to be purple friend.
Purpler friend.
Purple gang.
Then again, Ew is amorphous, so it could.
No, actually, he's not purple anymore. He's rainbow colored. So rainbow colored friends.
And at the end of the evolution, there is a very bright, shiny shimmer surrounding Ew. It's a very noticeable Pokemon. And you've seen, I mean, Ew was shiny before, but Ew is really, really shiny now. In fact, even shinier. I would say that for Tiffany, she would actually be able to tell that as shiny Pokemon goes, Ew's shiny genes are probably the paragon, the ideal of shininess.
And she cares nothing. It's more, oh, my baby's all grown up. Hugging.
Dr. Aspen will turn his head towards your direction because it's kind of hard to miss a Pokemon evolving. And when he sees Ew, he drops his mug, and then the coffee mug shatters on the floor.
Wow,
And he just stands agape.
That's messy. Hey, Dr. Aspen, I forgot. I totally wanted to talk to you about something.
Ew is making his way toward Aspen, smile in place, going for
confused by you leaving and follows after.
That's Shiny? Shiny 8? Dr. Aspen says towards Ew's direction. Shiny 8. And then he gets down on one knee and holds out his arms as Ew comes for a hug and gives Ew a very big hug, even almost engulfing the poor doctor. But he seems to be used to that.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness.
Excuse me?
You're...
His name's Ew.
This is very fascinating. Ew, is it? Richard asks. And at this point, you're going to have a flood of memories.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to remember how you were treated in this really horrible place. Because you were, like I said, they were basically raising you to be the epitome of shininess in Pokemon because they were trying to use you as a way to research the shiny gene. And they did a lot of very uncomfortable, invasive, even for you, invasive, and that's pretty darn invasive, experiments. And Richard Aspen was the only one who actually treated you less like an experiment and more like an actual living being. Mm-hmm. And you remember how you escaped. You remember him devolving you. You remember walking down the street trying to find somebody to that you could rely on, maybe Dr. Aspen again, but you slowly started to devolve into an egg out in the middle of the street, and that's what happened. Mm-hmm. So Dr. Aspen is going to basically explain to you the story that I have told you before about Ew's origins and Shiny 8, because it was the 8th in line of a bunch of other Grimers that they were trying to breed. Unfortunately, those Grimers did not live or survive because the experiments were extremely strenuous on the body, even to a Grimer. And he'll explain the whole thing to Tiffany.
Cassie, during the story, will get herself a nice mug of coffee.
Yeah, when she hears about the Grimers dying, her grip is going to tighten on you.
So you're saying you found it as an egg? Dr. Aspen says?
Yes, on the sidewalk, left alone.
Cassie, it looks like your father's de-evolution invention worked a little bit too well.
I'll be damned. Yes, it did. Wow, who would have thunk it?
Invention? People are leaving story parts out.
My dad was a brilliant scientist,
We know this, yes.
and he made some great leaps in the evolutionary field.
Okay, legality time. Are you going to try taking him from me? I promise you I will fight. And my last name isn't Benoit, as in Benoit Burgundy and Bass. Yes, that law firm.
Well, he says, for all intents and purposes, if you is reborn, it pretty much, I believe, is rightfully yours and yours alone.
You nods vigorously and holds on to Tiffany, but I think Ew is so much bigger than Tiffany, he basically like picks her up. He picks her up.
Doesn't care, just leans into him.
Slowly leaning further.
That department that Ew was in had been shut down. So even if I wanted to bring Ew back in, technically there's nothing to bring Ew back into, since that research has been taken away, at least. That wing of the research has been taken away.
All right, good to know. Thank you. As you might have guessed, I'm very fond of him.
Well, you should be. Ew is a very one-of-a-kind Pokemon.
Yes, he is. He is the best cuddle lake? Yeah, I'll figure it out. Ever.
Ew beams. He just beams.
Ew pretty much has an extremely strong set of shiny genes.
That he does. I don't care. What I care is he has good hugs and a good heart.
I have to say, Dr. Aspen says, I didn't think I would see you again, old friend. Hopefully you'll come to visit every once in a while. We could do some catching up.
Ew smiles, nods, brings in Aspen for a hug. He's now holding Tiffany in one arm and got has Aspen in the other arm.
And now Ew's going to walk down with each in hand, with her daddy and mommy.
Well, I think we are now linked, so I will try to arrange some visits before we go on our trip.
That'd be wonderful. Several of the other scientists are eyeing you in a, wow, that's a really shiny Pokemon. Kind of way.
Ew actually,
Predatory glares in return.
Ew actually does the same.
And all of the, when you do, the other scientists are like, oh, okay. All right.
I would start rolling Lear.
Lear.
No, I actually have that as one of my social moves.
Okay, you know how I'm doing armor for the Pokemon?
Yes, for Johto. Hmm?
Are we doing anything with the plates? Because I will need to take measurements so I know how to do mount settings for the armor. I don't know where you've been hiding them.
I don't think I'd be comfortable with the plates being armor mounted.
Well, how do you do you not plan on us using them?
Not particularly. I mean, these are kind of ancient artifacts.
Yeah, but great power. And I
Comes
think
great
we've proven we're
responsibility.
responsible enough.
Have we, though?
I'm going to lie and say yes.
All right, well, once you convince me of that, I'll let you guys know where I have the plates.
I will form the team then. This will be a team effort. Go us.
Sounds good. All right, well, I'm going to go see how work is. I'll catch you later.
Oh, your shell bell necklace. How attached to you are it?
Fairly. Why do you ask?
It's just, it could be better. I mean, the mount setting isn't that good. The cord it's on is kind of meh. Just
Well,
make it
it's
a little better.
It's more utility than anything. I mean, if you could touch it up a little bit, I wouldn't mind. Is that what you're proposing?
Yes.
So let's take it off then and hand it over.
Okay, and you will have your choice either between the guile or the charm, and we can do that in Discord.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.